Tell.
First quarter, NASCAR, you got sauced.
NASCAR, you got sauce is brought to you by Mamba's Hot Sauce. Park that RV and become the talk of the track at NASCAR weekend when you're cooking with Mamba Hot Sauce. Mamba Hot Sauce, don't be a wimp. I wasn't. No milk last week, by the way. None whatsoever. None. This week, trying out a new sauce. Trying out the Mamba Cayenne. Cayenne, right? Cayenne?
Yeah, cayenne.
Yeah, that's not English. I know that's not. That's not even a word, right? That's made up. Like that's
cayenne pepper.
All right, so let me go ahead. Look, my go-to snack. I'll eat 50 of these a day if I could, but like somebody won't let me. But nuggets, right? I love nuggets. The sauce was great on nuggets. Last week it was the Mamba 10 special edition. Mamba number 10 special edition. Hot as hell. Flavor so good. So good. Like
I could two I have tried got me too. Like you don't, because the heat is a separate element because there's really genuinely good flavor in these sauces. Unlike some hot sauces that it's just the heat, nothing else there. So you're tasting the good flavor and you're enjoying it and everything's going great. And then all of a sudden your mouth is on fire and you're like, oh wait, that was also spicy.
Like just smell the flavor. It's just, which two did you try?
I did the jalapeno verde. Really, really good. That would go perfect with eggs if anybody needs an example. And then last night I tried chili chipotle, and that's got a really good smoky flavor. That would go so good in barbecue.
We're going to go through this sauce so fast.
So fast. That's my goal there is to sneak some of that into some barbecue.
This is sauce. Only a 3 on the skull and crossbones scale, by the way. Last week was a 5.
So we'll see.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I do have milk, though. Not going to lie. Just in case. I do have some. This one's loaded. Let's go ahead. There it is. There it is. I didn't want to say anything because it creeps up on you. I knew what to expect from last week. If all of their sauces are like this,
yeah,
then I'm going to give each bite like 10 seconds
until you're feeling the effects of it, and then you're like,
oh yeah, but, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah,
this is so good.
I'm actually dying to try that one too. I better make
this is mine. Wing. Get your own bottle. This is mine. Mamba Cayenne. Pick it up. MambaHotSauces.com. So we do have some sports to talk about here. We got the race in Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend. I got to take another bite. Oh yeah. Oh. It's good stuff. I gotta admit though, like I'm not worried anymore because I tried the number 10 last week and that was extremely good. It was hot though.
It wasn't last week. It was just Wednesday. It was 2 days ago.
You know what? You're right. So 2 days ago.
2 days ago, you tried the hottest one and you survived. So yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it makes you forget time. So there's the drawback to this, but it is really, really good though. Really good. So basically, the ones that you've been using, yeah, just replace them with these. That. Like from now on, like throw that other stuff out. I do want to
try that one pretty bad.
Well, we may need another bottle because, like, I used the tip, just the tip. But it's good. Oh my god, it's so good.
We're definitely
let me actually get some work done here real quick. All right, so there's a double header on Saturday, right?
Yes.
You've got today you had the Freight 208 qualifying for the Craftsman Truck Series. Right now, I think as we speak is the Raptor 250 qualifying for the Xfinity Series, but both races are tomorrow. All right, and then Saturday tomorrow is also the Cup Series qualifying early. I believe it's set 11 o'clock. I get the times mixed up not from our time to East Coast time, but whatever's
Right.
on the website, because I never know if it's showing, because with how smart computers are and stuff, like a lot of times because we're out here in Arizona, it shows mountain time, like on the scores for our ESPN and stuff.
Right.
But then if I go to like this schedule, is it showing mountain time or is it showing East Coast time? I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
So it's early tomorrow. So what time you need to wake up? Early. Set your alarm for early. That's how you do it.
Well, with that, if they're doing qualifying and then they're doing race and then they're doing second race, is there somebody that's going to literally be driving all day tomorrow? There's nobody that does all three, right? I know there's plenty of Xfinity and Cup Series lapovers, but I feel like there was at least one person in the Truck Series that was a
Kyle Busch is racing in the Truck Series tomorrow, but I don't know if he's doing Xfinity tomorrow. But he's racing in the Truck Series.
That's something to keep an eye out for. So that's gonna, I mean, by the time you're rolling around to that last race of the day, that's gonna affect your performance for sure. Well, so I would imagine.
Unless you're Daniel Suarez and you wreck in the first 10% of both races.
Yeah, that's exactly my point, though.
I looked at Suarez on my power rankings. He was like 18th. He is not on my power rankings this week
anymore. Yeah,
he got booted. Like you can't even last a quarter of the race before you're wrecked. And on top of that, you took out my freaking driver because you couldn't control your car from going back up
in
to
her
the
first
race,
Xfinity race,
right in the back.
Deegan.
Haley Deegan, come on now. I'm a Deegan fan because, like, I think there should be more women. As crazy as most women are that I've been around that drive crazy, there should definitely be more women drivers in NASCAR.
I feel like there's room for a joke about jumping curves in there somehow, but I don't have it.
But are we really joking though? That's the thing.
Really the only time in my adult life I have jumped a curve, it was when I was driving in a car with you because I was nervous about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still mad about that. Only time in my adult life. It's because he was sitting next to me in the car and I have that effect on women, I guess. Driver over here.
I mean, I'm not a professional driver. I did 13,000 trips for Uber and I had no tickets and no accidents. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah.
That some would say that's a perfect record. You can. I'll let you. No more. Go ahead. All right. So doubleheader Saturday, the Freight 208 is 135 laps, 207.9 miles. Personally, I think the Freight 207.9 mile race sounds better than the Freight 208, but whatever. I'm not the marketing guy. All right. Austin Hill is looking to go back to back to start the season. He won at Daytona. He also won the last race at Atlanta. So Austin Hill is he's off to a solid start this year.
He really is. Yeah.
Like it. The Raptor King of Tough 250 for Xfinity is 163 laps, 251.02 miles. I'm trying really hard not to burp on that, but I'm shoving down this hot sauce.
I could tell how good it is because like you're eating it like it's a food that you want to eat on purpose, not like you're forcing yourself to eat something spicy for the camera.
Get your own bottle.
Whenever he gets a mouthful of food, he can't talk for a minute. It means he likes it.
Oh, I'm not going to drink water, though. I'm not going to drink the milk either. So we'll see. All right. It is hot.
Yeah.
But it's not as hot as Mama number 10.
Yeah.
But it's hot. I like it. Yeah. It's good. All right. Raptor King of Tough 250, 163 laps, 251.02 miles. That is later in the evening. I just want to see Haley Deegan finish the race. I think if she can just finish the race, because this is another drafting track, and it's rare for them to have back-to-back drafting tracks in NASCAR.
Yeah, yeah,
like really, really rare. So this is crazy, but I mean it'll work out. Sunday, the Am Better Health 400, 260 laps, 400.4 miles. 2023 winners, William Byron and Joey Logano. William Byron, as we know, won the 500 last week, or excuse me, last on Sunday. We're still in the same week. This sauce got me crazy. William Byron is a plus 180 to finish in the top 5. Corey LaJoie, if you're going to place a bet, Corey LaJoie has finished like 8 of his 10 top 10 finishes were at drafting tracks.
Right.
He is one of the most underrated drivers in NASCAR when it comes to the super speedways. Corey LaJoie, if you want to make some money, just throwing this out there, the bet that he'll finish in the top 5, which he did last week, is at plus 500. That means $10 wins you 60. Do the math, figure out how much you want to put down on him. He'll finish in the top 5. I can almost guarantee that. But again, I'm not doing very good on my guarantees this week. We'll talk more on that in a second.
Anything can happen in sports.
The 3 must starts, though,
to making a guarantee.
For fantasy goes, the 3 must starts, Joey Logano, Corey LaJoie, William Byron. I mean, absolutely phenomenal races at these tracks. I still can't believe that I took him off of number 1 in my top 20 rankings. Speaking of which,
but to give Joel some credit, he gave a very, very well thought out and backed up with facts argument. He did, which is what made you second guess yourself.
Facts aren't real. All right, moving on.
I was just gut checking. I would have put in number 1 also. I would have put Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch up there, and Tyler Reddick.
So here's my thing. First
gut.
off,
that's not.
Do not, now that you mentioned him, do not bet Kyle Larson. He is not good at drafting tracks. He's great everywhere else. He has wrecked 3 out of his last 4 drafting tracks. He is DNF'd. Did not finish in 3 of his last 4.
I'm saying when we were talking about for the beginning of the season, not for just this next race.
No, for the season, have him on board. Put him in the garage. You can pick him up after. Like, that's just,
I don't even remember who I have on my team now that you say that.
Well, you got to check it out because the race is Sunday. All right. It's only race number 2 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and William Byron has already made me eat my words. But is that enough for me to put him from 7th to number 1? NASCAR fans, if you're watching, tell me who you think should be number 1 in the comments. Who should be ranked the number 1 driver? And I have a feeling that they're just going to put their favorite driver. But whatever.
Maybe. But that's valid.
Let's work our way down, shall we?
It's all right.
At number 20, AJ Allmendinger. AJ had a strong showing at Daytona. He finished 6th. He was not in my top 20 last week, but with Suarez and Stenhouse Jr. just slacking last week, I had to take him out of my top 20. So you have to fill those spots. AJ Allmendinger right there in the 20th. Number 19. I have a feeling this guy's going to be a lot higher after this week. He wasn't in my top 20 because when I initially put the top 20 down, I was thinking season, right?
Right.
I was thinking, will this guy be in the top 20 at the end of the season? But now I'm regretting it. I had to put Corey LaJoie, get him in there. Sometimes, it's easy to forget just how good of a driver this man actually is at drafting tracks. The question is, after what I assume to be another good showing at Atlanta, can he hold on to his momentum when they go back to the more technical tracks? I think he'll be really good this weekend. Then he starts to fade away when they're not the drafting tracks.
Yeah.
So with that being said, number 18, Ryan Preece. I had Preece at 20 last week, even after an early accident and some minor damage. Preece drove really well in this race. His 23rd place finish did not do his story justice at Daytona. It didn't. He was running up front for the majority of the race, and he started in the back. He got Daytona'd, if that's a thing. If I can make that a verb. He got Daytona'd
the thing now.
And wrecked and Like most, like Logano finished in the back. He's not one of the worst drivers. Like Keselowski finished toward the back. He's not one of the worst drivers.
Right.
Like a lot of your favorite drivers out there, or favorites that you've or drivers that you have heard of, they finished in the back because they were wrecked. Daniel Suarez,
because of my favorite driver.
Your favorite driver did okay.
No, because of my favorite driver.
Got it. Number 17, Michael McDowell. I had no doubt last week that Michael McDowell had one of the fastest cars on the track. What we didn't see happening was him throwing a gear, and he couldn't get into fifth gear like early. So he went from being on the front row to being many laps. He finished like 26 laps down.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to there's a difference between docking him because he sucks at driving and docking him because of a mechanical issue.
Troubles. Right.
He went out and he grabbed the number 2 spot on the pole. And if he didn't have car trouble, I think he probably would have finished up front. Not at the front, but probably in the top 5 to 10. Number 16, Chris Buescher. I had him at 14 in my first NASCAR Cup Series top 20 power rankings of the season. He finished 18th at Daytona. This spot kind of feels right for him. I'm still picking him as a driver to break the long streak for Stuart Haas, Haus Racing. Question is, will it be at Atlanta? Probably not. But he's in my top 20. Number 15, Ty Gibbs. Well, he was 15th last week. Showed a little bit of speed. Finished 17th overall. So I kept him at 15. Number 14, Brad Keselowski. For a minute there, it actually looked like Brad was just waiting for his moment to pounce when he was running up front towards the end. But he got Daytona'd, and he finished in 33rd.
Yeah.
Atlanta's another track that I do expect Brad to perform really well at. He's another guy that does very good at the drafting tracks. Next up, Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick will once again be a contender this year, and I'm willing to bet that we'll see him in victory lane in very short order, maybe even this weekend. For now, he drops out of my top 10. He is number 13. Number 12, the veteran, Martin Truex Jr. It was actually good to see Truex at Daytona. He was running really well. I had him as a top 5 driver in my first power rankings. Accidents happened, pushed him to the back, couldn't recover. I dropped him out, put him at 12. Next up, at number 11, Ms. Marnie, on the spot trivia question. Who drives the number 11? Who drives the number 11?
I'm not admitting what my mouth is trying to say right now. The name won't come out. Denny
Hamlin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, look, I had the opportunity to put the number 11 in the 11th spot, and I took it. I'm not sure if this is the year he'll actually
Jordan.
cash in. No, that's not Michael Jordan. That's Michael Jordan's partner.
Yes.
His co-owner. But no, yeah, he is co-owner. That's still got to be difficult. I need to start listening to his podcast more. Like, you're racing for one team, you're financially supporting
for a whole other team that it would be.
You know, I mean, well, let me back up. He's probably not doing most of the financial supporting for 2011. Jordan's probably picking up the biggest part of that bill. Scratch out probably, right? All right, number 10, Ryan Blaney. My fantasy team was actually in third place. Remember I showed you screenshot? Third place in the money, 400 times what I put in. And then it wasn't in third place anymore. Oh my God. Bad breaks. Bad. He got Daytona'd.
Bad.
But I still have him in the top 10. I still have him in the top 10. Number 9 is the one guy that everybody unanimously hates, maybe including his own team. Ross Chastain. I'm calling him, I have nicknamed him Mr. Dynamite. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that calls him that. but it's actually a pretty good nickname, along with probably a dozen others off the top of my head that most people want to actually say on a podcast. At any moment, he can explode. He showed that last week. He was responsible for the final wreck of the race with a move. But let me ask you this. Do you want a driver on your team that does not make that move and settles into his position, or actually makes a move that could lead to him winning the Daytona 500?
I mean, I think you'd want the move.
That's why he's in NASCAR. That's why people hate him, but that's why he's there. He makes crazy moves, and sometimes it pays off, and sometimes you see what happened last week. Yeah. Number 8, I've got Kyle Larson. Kyle just doesn't have any luck at drafting tracks. Doesn't make him a bad driver overall, but I think we'll see more of the same from number 5 this weekend. I do not see him as a top 5 finisher this week. Number 7, Bubba Wallace. I had Wallace at number 11 last week. He finished a solid 5th in Daytona. It would actually be nice to see him get back-to-back top 10s for the 2311 driver to start the season.
Yeah.
Number 6, everybody's favorite driver, apparently, because that's what he was voted again. Chase Elliott is undoubtedly one of the top drivers in NASCAR and obviously one of the favorites, but he needs a win bad. He'll need to do better than 14th to stay inside my top 10 for next week. Number 5, Joey Logano. I had Logano in 8th before qualifying last week. If he can bring another fast car to Atlanta, then he'll be running in the top 5 for most of the race. I think he actually may be the man to beat this week outside of William Byron. If I had to pick 2, Logano, Byron.
Gotcha.
Number 4, Alex Bowman. Feel like this is a little high for Bowman considering I had him number 16 last week for Daytona. But I mean, he showed up last week.
With a showing. He survived the accident he caused, which is pretty amazing to begin with. And then he placed 2nd, I think, correct?
He survived the accident he caused.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And he finished 2nd. So I moved him all the way up to number 4. Let's go. Let's get back-to-back wins. I like him. I cheer for him. Not just because you like him, but because he's from Arizona, right?
Yeah.
He's from here. So, he's from Tucson,
about
an hour and a half south.
Mid-pack guy, but he came out feeling a little more serious this season. So I get behind that. We'll see how
at number 3, probably the most underrated freaking driver in all of NASCAR, continues to put up the results, continues to be there in the end when it matters. Christopher freaking Bell.
Yeah.
How does this guy keep getting ignored? He was in the Final 4 last year.
He's not loud, flashy, obnoxious, any of the things that are attention grabbing. So maybe it's just that. Even when they put him in NASCAR full speed last season, because they had to, because he was like right up there at the top out of nowhere, and they weren't expecting it. He was pretty chill about it. He's like, let me guess. You didn't think about me, did you?
Right. He was leading the race at the green flag, the final restart. He was in first place. And then he ended up getting taken down and moved back and stuff like that. Christopher Bell, man, he's going to have a solid year this year. If he's not on your fantasy team, go pick him up.
Yeah.
Number 2, William Byron. I couldn't do it. Every part of my soul said that I just need to put him in first, which is where I started off the podcast, our first NASCAR podcast, saying I was going to do. I didn't. Joe Willman changed my mind. I moved him back to 7th. He won a race. But I have to set the precedent. Just because you win a race, that doesn't move you to the number 1 spot overall.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's doing pretty damn good right now. And he's at a track that he is going to do very well. Number 1. Who have I not mentioned yet?
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch. Now, okay, well, it's because you're a Busch fan. Well, maybe, but if you looked at his driving and his car last week, he overcame not 1, not 2, but 3 issues that sent him to the back of the line
Yeah, and he still
every
got up into
time.
the top 5.
And he still was in top 5 until he got Daytona'd on the final wreck.
Yeah.
He actually had a shot at going for the win on that final restart, and he got wrecked.
Yeah.
Ah, man. But if you looked at his car was fast as hell. He made it up every time. He had a loose lug nut. He had or wheel lock, as they call it now, because there's only one.
Made
He
a whole lap
had
around without a wheel lock on at all.
yeah,
Somehow survived
that in
and
itself,
maintained his pace.
that in its own should put him as the number 1 driver. They had a man over the wall, or too many men over the wall. A guy reaching for the tire. When they do the change, there's a guy that catches the tire so it doesn't go out on the track.
Yeah.
He was reaching for it, and he ended up putting his hand down on the track.
Right.
And that's too many men over the wall.
No.
Yeah. So he got penalized for that. And then he got penalized for, what was it? What else did he get? He was in a wreck.
Yeah, with the first wreck that he survived.
It was the first wreck.
He stayed in the race. It wasn't until the second wreck that he really got knocked cold.
Kyle Busch, my number 1 driver.
He looked good, though.
Yeah. I expect him to do very well, especially in the truck series tomorrow, which, by the way, he's starting 7th. Don't worry about that. All right. Don't worry about that. Again, real big shout out to that segment. Sponsor that segment will be from here on be known as NASCAR You Got Sauce, brought to you by our friends.
I gotta ask the question I'm sure everybody's dying to hear. Did you finish the chicken nuggets?
Oh yeah, those are long gone.
Yeah.
Those were gone before I got to Saturday.
You went from doing the show part to just eating.
They were good.
That's a sign of how tasty they really are, though, so I could say.
I grew up in the foster system, wasn't well off. When good food is in front of you, you finish that shit, and you finish that shit fast, and then you go up for seconds if it's available, especially being the smallest kid. Believe it or not, I was the smallest kid. I had to eat fast and then get seconds before everybody else got up there. All right? Then I took that mentality and went to the Army, where the motto is, eat it now, taste it later.
Yeah.
That didn't help. So you wonder why I eat the way I eat? There you go. I was raised to eat this way. I can put down some food. You know this. All right. What is next?